Today we learn about dimensions or dimensional formula, or simply we call it dimensions of physical quantities. This I'm referring to new books. This page is 228. You can look back at your textbook. Dimensional formula thì zero na. What is dimensions? Let me explain first. Here it is written. Dimensions of physical quantity are the powers which are raised to fundamental quantities in order to represent that physical quantity. Let me explain from some formula. Let me take force. Force, just saying force does not clear about what physical quantities are really involved in that force. So force is from Newton's second law, as we already studied in class 10 or 9. It is mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration is mass is its unit is kg. Acceleration is meter per second square. So from mass ma2, I simplified into kg meter per second square. So kg is mass. So let me write it as capital M. Meter is length. Second stands for time. It's a measure of time. So I can write like this. Here is the dimensional formula of force. That means force is composed of mass, length. Length may be height, depth, width, or distance or displacement in part one day, and time. These three quantities constitute a force, or let me say Newton. That is dimensions of force. They kind of change here. For example, pressure. Pressure's formula to force by area. So I've already calculated dimensions of force is here. If I divided this by area, I'll get pressure. That means if this pressure area formula to area is measured in meter square, and to length into breadth. Yeah, length is measured in meter, breadth is measured in meter. That means this area is meter square. Oh, I can write meter square. Instead of meter square, I can write length square. Oh, yan. Instead of area, let me write is L square. L stands for length. So L hit and power. I have only one power. So if L goes up, the power will be minus 1 D minus 2. So for dimension, we have to write this type of bracket, big bracket. Oh, I think I can need already. The dimensions of pressure. I don't need to make the dimension. In this or in class 11, we'll only learn 4, which involve length, mass, and time. Their dimensions are length as this L, first letter, L, mass is the first letter, M, time first letter is T. So unit to length, unit is meter, mass is kg, time is second. Meter pathum chehi kan zero dawal. Abak zon kan zero dawal. Abak chu harvak la. Chuan write or to know or to calculate the dimensions of any formula, we have to know the formula itself. To calculate dimensions of energy, I have to know what will be the formula of energy, so that only I can find dimensions. Here, suppose if I don't know the formula of force, I cannot calculate it, all this. Now, I already knew that pressure is forced by air, so I can calculate the dimension of pressure. If I don't know, then I cannot calculate these dimensions. So the first most important thing is to know formula, physical formula. So your first task is to by heart all the formula. Here I'll take area. You have to know it. Area is length into breadth. I've already written. Length into breadth is meter into meter, so unit will be meter square. Here dimensions is m0, because because length and breadth doesn't have any mass, so mass is 0. Then it does not have time, so t is 0. Only L square. We have only L meter square. Here length, breadth, height is volume. In the same case, it does not involve mass and time, so the power must be 0. Then frequency is 1 by time period, or just time, 1 by time. That means 1 by unit will be 1 by second. 1 by second means that will be second inverse. Second is time, so I can write it as time inverse. There is time inverse, does not involve length and mass, so they have 0 powers. That we have to know. Then specific volume, no need to highlight. Yes, frequency is unit per second. Yeah, I'm written per second, or it's SI unit. We already learned about SI unit. SI unit is hertz. That is Hz in short form. Density is mass by volume. That means how much dense is that particular material or object. That is density. That is mass by volume. Mass is kg. We already calculated. Mass is kg. Volume as L cube. So mass stands for M. Then volume is L cube. That means M L cube. One goes up, it will change the sign. I don't have T, so it will be 0. Yeah, exactly. Then its unit is kg per meter cube, because mass is measured in kg, volume is measured in meter cube. So when M cube goes up, it will become -3. So linear velocity or just velocity or speed is, if it is velocity, formula will be displacement by time, or if it is speed, distance by time. Distances or displacement, they are just same. We'll explain it later. Distance is measured in meter, time as second, or just time. This does not involve mass, so m0. Distance meter, I have meter 1. If it is 1, no need to write 1, just write L. Here or m0 instead of 0, I can just erase m, so I have only L t minus 1. It may be more appropriate. L t minus 1, and the minus 1 means t is in numerator. So acceleration accelerations means velocity by time, or change in velocity by time, or how much a velocity of a body increased in 1 second due to acceleration nanti kanya. How much a velocity of a body increases every second due to acceleration, due to velocity by time. And I have velocity formula is distance by time, distance by time, and that's on distance by time square. And that means meter per second square. Meter per second square niya. Meter is length times t, so lt minus 2. I can neglect m because it has 0 or does not involve in acceleration. So on. Force. Centripetal force is gravitational force, electrical force, magnetic force, which may be any type of any force. If it is a force, it will always the same. Similarly, if it is linear or centripetal or circular or angular, all are same. But angular tak is radian per second niya. Radian to angles niya. That means I don't have a length, radian ni length kanilo mass kanilo d minus 2 so yang centripetal acceleration. Acceleration means linear acceleration by radius square niya. Lt minus 2 ka ay nang ring. So momentum kan pilih lah. Lai formula yang clear tu lang ay. Momentum so momentum, just momentum or linear momentum, that is mass into velocity. I have already mass as m, velocity is lt minus 1. Become here the velocity here, speed or velocity here lt minus 1, and the mass is m, and the velocity times 1 m, velocity will be mass and it's one mass, velocity lt minus 1. That kind of makes one, put bracket, big bracket. This mass stands for stand as m, velocity is lt minus 1. So a formula to a mass c. If you want to calculate the formula, mass is measured in kg, length is measured in meter, time is measured in second, kg meter per second. Where is it? Oh, kg meter per second. Force. Force is the first point we have already discussed here. Force, mass is acceleration, Newton. Kanita mlt minus 2 niya. Remember this, particularly you have to know this one. So Newton. So this is mass and mass kg. You need to Newton and mass simplified something there. Mass to kg newtons is equivalent to kg, L is meter, T is seconds minus 2. Newtons is equivalent to kg meter per second square. Hey, they have to know this one. Necessary, it is necessary, compulsory. You have to compulsory know. Then Newton is equal to kg meter per second square. It is the unit, and here is the dimensions. Dimensions is mlt minus 2. M, kg is mass, m is L, second is time, minus 2. Oh, this one mlt minus 2. Apoy mo luto katak ka. chuan heta work done. Work to force into displacement, work or energy. Energy means any energy, potential, kinetic, rotational, maybe mechanical, heat or light energy. Energy it will be joule force into distance. And it's a force into distance ni ta se heta force kha kanito mlt minus 2 kanito ka. Takian if I multiply another distance, that is L, if I write L here, L and L will be multiplied, so this will become L square ml2 t minus 2. Is it correct? What is work done? ml2 t minus 2. Is it correct? Yes. So on, its SI unit is joule. If it is energy, it is joule. All is joule. I already said, maybe it is heat energy, mechanical or kinetic, potential, rotational, or energy ponitase. Its unit will always be joule. So joule equivalent will be in this type, in this case, force. We have already force as this 1 kg meter per second square. The distance is meter. That means I'll multiply this whole this by meter. Another m. If I multiply m here, that will become energy. So kg m will be m square. Kg m square per second square. Oh, di kana rom kami tong tanya. Work done. Heta work ani tu dai energy ni rim cha nang vek kinetic energy or potential empon ni rose or joule. Joule equivalent unit is kg meter square per second square. These are their equivalent. These are their dimensions. So on kinetic energy to make the this is energy, so it will be joule and energy. So on power, so work done by time, and work done is energy by time, and so on. That means this will be divided by time. Time you can divide lang. Time you can divide one. Work done kit you can m what is work done? Hipo ano rin 2 L2 T minus 2 by this time is power 1 time power 1. As soon as minus, it will be minus, so minus and minus 2 will be added, so this will become minus 3. H of both a power, power unit về thông rồi watt. Equivalent unit can should swap thing equivalent unit. How to calculate the equivalent unit? So here's mass stands for kg, L stands for meter, if it is square we will square, T stands for time, minus 3 near second minus 3. This is the equivalent unit of power. Remember this also. So gravitational constant. In gravitation we have already this that is capital G. Capital G here. This one is also important. So acceleration due to gravity, maybe accelerations due to gravity or non-gravity. If it is acceleration, that means all are same. So escape velocity. Escape velocity is a velocity. What will be what? Maybe the formula doesn't matter. You can have any formula, but the unit will be same. This will with velocity. because this is also velocity. Hey velocity pa nga he ta kan nei to thau kha linear velocity velocity meter per second kan ya escape velocity khan escape velocity meter per second minus 1 to lo correct he ta minus 1 L minus 1 L stand for m, T is minus 1 second, T second minus 1 minus 1 to kalau correct pula chuan so khle nga thì khan du tok phop tiang chuan tuna katik ho zong kha riat vector in riat vec chuan na kana aw sam don in riat vec lo ero chuan a har savio mi theni kha kha lo khata ila a thang chuan next second zile tur chu in tinga dimension a chu chuada kha kan sirang next a he kan siranga khan buin tan chuan du tok meo